We've got Mayor 𝗪𝗪 versus Dalton Parks and Recreation. That's what we're doing. Let's take a look at this video.
I have 4 tickets issued from the village of Dalton, and each ticket is $500 a piece. That is $2,000 worth of tickets that I have here.
Dalton Park District President 𝗪𝗧𝗏 Jones says they were stunned last week when they received citations for doing work without a permit. He says 2 of the tickets were issued for spreading fresh mulch on district playgrounds.
So every year we replenish the mulch in the park to ensure that the safety of the kids are playing on a safe surface by playing on some healthy mulch. And we do this every year.
Have they ever asked for a permit before?
Never. Never in a million years.
The other 2 tickets appear to be for replacing old playground equipment with brand new equipment.
My response was, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What does the village have to do with the park district?
Jones believes the park district, a separate unit of government, is being targeted by controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who's currently at the center of an FBI corruption investigation. The park district believes it's retaliation for allowing the 4 Dalton trustees opposed to Henyard to hold meetings at a park district field house after they were barred from Village Hall, including the meeting in which they appointed former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate Henyard.
We do not play the politics here, and don't put us in the middle of politics by issuing us these political citations.
But it's not just mulch and swing sets. They say Henyard is holding up $600,000 in grants for the park district, one from Blue Cross Blue Shield, the other from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, by refusing to issue permits for the work.
We have gone to the village for permitting, and they have been unresponsive. I have a project manager that is working on that, and they just refuse to give us the permits.
Dalton Park District Director Stephanie Wiedemann says if they don't get the permits in the next few weeks, the $400,000 grant to overhaul Blackstone Park with a new walking path and gazebo will expire. And taxpayers will have to eat $150,000 in money that's already been spent for the park's design.
What resident wants to look outside of their house and see beat up stuff? If we can upgrade these things and you're preventing it with a permit, the residents are suffering. They don't get to look out their door and see nice things because you're stopping it.
Just because we finish doing something safe for the community, upgrading our playgrounds. Why? Why are we receiving citations for doing upgrades to our playgrounds?
In Dalton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
So many questions. So many answers that are not available. Not available. This is literally Dictator of Dalton versus Dalton Parks and Recs, right? I mean, you just got this back and forth. And it's like, why are we doing this? You guys are all in the same community. You should all be working together. But that's not what's going on. And that's why there's an FBI investigation in place. Now, the second story that I'm going to talk about today, I'm not going to talk about it a ton, but there's an interview with the Chicago Crusader that I keep waiting to have come out. It's supposed to have been done a while ago. And it doesn't appear that interview is going to take place. We'll get into that in a little bit. But let's go over this whole Parks and Recs deal, because this is one small issue, but it exemplifies the huge, weird web that Tiffany Henyard has weaved that has just gone through this entire, not only the village of Dalton, but the township of Thornton. She's gotten into that, she's the supervisor of trustees there, and they are upset as well. So you've got, 2 big political entities here. You got the village of Dalton. I shouldn't say they're big, but they're, she's an elected official of one, and she's basically put into place in the other one and taken the township supervisor. She took over somebody's position that died. So, you've just got this wild stuff going on. Let's read the story. Head of the Dalton Park claims embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard is playing political games with their efforts to improve the town's parks. 𝗪𝗧𝗏 Jones said Henyard, and he's the district president we just saw, is retaliating. I was wondering where the people that set up the meeting to have Lori Lightfoot come in, where are they meeting to do all this? Because they're not doing it in front of Henyard, right? And they got kicked out of their own civic building. they're just basically, you guys are out of here. You guys are causing trouble. You can't be here. So they went and used the Parks and Recreation Field House. So now Mayor Tiftif is upset. And also, yeah, they're putting mulch down. They're putting basically wood chips down. So when the kids do their crazy stunts on the playground, they don't break a leg. Like, when you launch out of a swing set and you just try and get as much air as you can and you come down. When you're young, those legs are rubbery and they're going to bounce all over. When you're old, you break them. But you don't want the kids to get bruised up, right? So have as much mulch down as you can. It kind of absorbs some of the fall, and then it also keeps the weeds down. So, but doing that with that, there's no permit needed on the mulch deal. Like, let's clear that up. That is back a dump truck up, dump a bunch, have some guys with wheelbarrows and shovels and rakes, spread it out. You're done. There's no electrical. There's no plumbing. There's no architectural review board that needs to be done. You just dump the chips on the playground. That's how it's done. You don't need a permit. This whole thing is it's nutty. So he goes on to say, I have 4 tickets, and he showed those tickets issued by the Village of Dalton. Each is $500 apiece. Why are they ticketing their own parks and recs? What about just having a conversation? Hey, you know what? Didn't see that, you followed the normal order of, chain of events here. Something's out of whack. Let's have a little talk, see, because that money has to come from the constituents to pay for what they are being ticketed for. Yeah. How backwards is that? It's wildly backwards. Jones said that they were stunned when they received the citations for doing work without a permit. Yeah, we're going to need to get a permit for, 15 yards of mulch to be put on the playground. Who does that? Who does that? I can understand if you're rebuilding something, you're renovating something, you've got utilities you're working with, you've got some kind of design going on. All right, I get that. But what we're talking about here is literally just keeping a playground up to par, up to snuff, right? 2 of the tickets were issued for spreading fresh mulch on district playgrounds. I've heard so many of you mention Seattle soy boys. Those are weak, blue-haired men who have lost their traditional masculinity. It's undeniable that such weakened masculinity in urban areas, it's had significant impacts. These feminized men are easier to control and less likely to push back, aligning with the societal shift that labels outspoken men as sexist or misogynist. Meanwhile, mainstream media demonizes traditional masculinity, calling it toxic. Research shows a dramatic decline in men's testosterone levels and physical strength over recent decades, influenced by sedentary lifestyle and poor diets. That's why I recommend Black Forest Testosterone with Tonkat Ali supplement. This plant-based product promotes increased testosterone and muscle mass while reducing stress. I've personally experienced improved recovery times and overall energy levels. Dubbed the feminization killer, this supplement combines 2 potent natural testosterone boosters. It's an effective way to counteract soy boy syndrome. With Black Forest Testosterone, I've seen noticeable improvements in energy, strength, and sleep quality. You too can experience these benefits with an exclusive buy 2, get 1 free offer available on their website. Black Forest Supplements is operated by patriots committed to resisting a system that aims to weaken us. By supporting this sponsor, you can help sustain this channel and reclaim robust health and confidence. Check out the special link below for this promotion. Thank you for your support. Every year, we replenish the mulch in the park to ensure the kids are playing on a safe surface, as you do. Healthy mulch, and we do this every year, Jones said. When asked if the district had ever been required to obtain a permit, no. No, this is clear and simple, a retaliation type deal. Tiffany Henyard is doing what she can to battle back. If somebody pisses her off, this is what she does. And, hopefully the FBI will be looking into this as well, but they probably won't, because this is just like small scale politics. But to the people of the village of Dalton, this is a big deal, especially the $600K for rebuilding their park. The 2 other tickets appear for replacing old playgrounds with brand new equipment. All right. So again, you are reworking something better than it was before. You're doing it for the kids. And I am guessing that have you had, did you have to get a permit to replace the equipment before? How's that work? I don't know. The whole thing to me just reeks of, this is a mayor. This is the dictator of Dalton just doing her thing, which is it's not working together. You're not a team. She's dictating from on high, and the people on the low end of things, anybody else, they're just taking the tickets and not getting the money. And Jones believes the Dalton Park District, a separate unit of government, is being targeted by Henyard, who is currently at the center of an FBI corruption investigation. If you haven't been following this story, it's a juicy one. There are deets that you would not believe. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's like, wow. Oh, hey now. Oh, yeah. Some of the spending that she has done. All right. So she went to nice steakhouses and she knows how to live. She lives life, well, but, on the company dime, right? On the township dime, on the village dime. But it's the misappropriation of funds for me. It's her cancer charity basically got its seed funding from the township of Thornton. It's like, okay, how's that work? And then city funds were used to pay for a 10-day walkathon as a fundraiser. It's like, okay, no, there's just a lot of things. There was the whole, village field trip to Vegas that went wildly sideways with accusations of sexual assault. Yeah. Allegedly. We do not play politics here, Jones said, and do not put us in the middle of politics by issuing us these political citations. That's what they are, right? It's tit for tat by tiff. That's what you got going on. Park District also alleges that Henyard is holding up $600K in grants. One's from the Blue Cross Blue Shield, the other from Illinois Department of Natural Resources. And if they don't get, they got to use that money or got to at least take the money down within a certain time period. And if they don't, then that money goes away. And the $150K that they've got into the township or the village will have to, taxpayers will then have to absorb $150K already spent on the park's design. So we hear about this so often of funds being held up, individual contractors being held up, funds just for running the city, garbage collection, you name it. I mean, are we going to cut the trees? Are we going to cut the trees down? It's unclear. Who's doing what? We don't know. Are the police cars going to get repoed? We don't know. I thought it was interesting that the police cars were going to get repoed. Those bills hadn't been paid. And apparently, a payment had been made on that. But then there's other payments that need to be made, one every May, I believe. It was interesting that the police cars, I think there was 9 of them that were on a lease, that those were going to go back to the lender. But Tiff's Tahoe and the alleged BMW that we're not really sure who's paying for, but those apparently have their payments made on time. Yeah. So what residents want to look outside of their house and see beat up stuff? Nobody. We can upgrade these things and prevent them from, and are being prevented from doing so by lack of a permit. And that is low. That is low. That's low life behavior. It's shenanigans, right? It's shenanigans. Because at the end of the day, your job as mayor, your job as, oversee a township is to work with the people that hired you. Work with the people that appointed you. Work together. That's the whole goal of this, right? Government. Try and work together. I know it doesn't work out all that well, oftentimes. But this whole notion of, Parks and Recs, they're having an illegal meeting and they're putting mulch down where they shouldn't. I mean, really? Really? And holding up funds? I mean, the holding up funds to me, those funds have already been spent on something else. Yeah. I was going to upgrade my park, but then I spent the money on something else. Yeah. Not good. They don't get to look out their door and see nice things because you're stopping it. This is what the Wiedemann, she was the woman with the Parks and Recs saying basically about Mayor Tiff, is that, hey, we could have this park redone, got the money, but you got to authorize it. authorized those funds. As for the $2,000 worth of Mulch tickets, the district hopes to contest them. Could you imagine having to contest to your own mayor work that you're doing, positive work that you're doing in the community, work that you do normally, you do every season? And then all of a sudden you get these tickets. You're like, what in the F are we doing here? All right. Well, you parks people, you guys are out of control. Remember that show, Parks and Recs? That was a great show. I love that show. That was fun. The mayor there she was just such a ditz, but she was nice and she was fair and she was funny, right? I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Instead, you've got the dictator of Dalton handing out $2,000 worth of Mulch tickets and then not handing out the $600K to redo the park. I got a feeling the funds have all been just misappropriated and mixed into a big pot and who knows what. And, let's just let the FBI sort it out. Let's just let, Lori Lightfoot sort it out. Because those are the two individuals. If you haven't been following the storyline, those are the two parties that are actively looking into what shenanigans we've got going on in Dalton and Township of Thornton. Just because we finished doing something safe for the community, upgrading the playgrounds, why? I would like to know that as well, because there's a lot of things where I go, yeah, but there's no but in this one, right? There's no but. Why would we receive a citation for upgrading our playgrounds? Yeah, that's a tough one to work around, isn't it? Yeah. If it's truly for that, it sounds like it based on the citations. It's like illegal mulch. Oh, you guys didn't pull a permit for the mulch. Oh, shame on you. You are bad people. Mayor Henyard was contacted for a response, but has not yet replied. Well, that's about par for the course. She hasn't yet replied because she's monkeying around with this story. Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard cancels interview with the Chicago Crusader. Now, I've been seeing this interview touted around for quite a bit of time since I've been covering the story. Hey, there's going to be this big interview. It's going to be this interview with the Chicago Crusader. He's going to give an exclusive interview. That's how it's kind of pitched, right? And now I can't believe Tiff's lawyer is just saying, no, do not do that. You're going to say something you're going to regret. You're going to say something the FBI is going to use against you. You're going to say something that Lori Lightfoot's going to use against you. You're going to say something that the constituents are going to use against you in either your township meeting or your mayor meeting. Just no interviews. Until you have your FBI investigation taken care of, and until Lori Lightfoot is done with hers, I would say mum is the word. But that's in a logical world. There's no logic here. This is just Dictator Dalton doing her thing. Embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard canceled a scheduled interview last month with the Chicago Crusader as more legal problems mount against her and the village. Henyard, through Thornton Township's public relations firm, the Whitley Agency of Atlanta, reached out to the Crusader to offer an exclusive interview about her housing initiative in Dalton. So that's what she was going to talk about. Nobody gives a crap about Tiff, the dictator of Dalton, her housing initiative. They want to hear the deets on, hey, what happened in Vegas? They want to hear, what about that $600K in funding is supposed to go here? What about that funding over there? What about the BMW? What about the really overpriced lease that you took out on Tiffany Tahoe? What about that? What about, different entities not getting paid? What about the law firm not getting paid? What about the repo action on the police cars that was going to happen? What about all this? What about the money seed funding Tiffany's charity? What, that came from Township of Thornton? What about this, that, and all kinds of just craziness? What about that company paid expense trip, city paid expense trip to Vegas? What happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas. It made its way back home with you. And now there's some sexual assault allegations against against one of the Dalton board members. Supervisors. It's just trustee, I guess they call him trustee. It's just, it's this story just keeps it going. There is no stopping it. So amid national stories about Henyard's alleged lavish spending and questionable leadership, Woodley Agency, they contacted the Crusader on May 13th. They're going to have a sit-down interview for May 20th, not that long ago. They reached out to Henyard's team to find an exact time. You set the date and you set the time. So when they rescheduled the interview, they couldn't do it to confirm the actual meeting time. So they set it again for a specific time, or a date without a specific time. As the Crusader waited for Henyard to provide the exact time, the Woodley Agency informed the Crusader the day before the interview via email that Henyard, and it's in quotes, will not be able to attend the interview because of another meeting that was previously unscheduled. So a meeting that was not scheduled was scheduled for the same time that the proposed meeting was going to be scheduled for. Does that make any sense at all? Because of another meeting that was previously unscheduled. If it was unscheduled, how was it scheduled? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense at all? Yeah, just send him an email and make him confused. Well, I am. You did that. It's like, okay, all right. The agency stated that Henyard was still interested in an exclusive interview with the Crusader in the near future, but no new date has been set. And I would say, Tiff can't help herself. She's just going to spout off about whatever. And even before she gets to, I'm sure she'd have her lawyer there, right? No, who knows, right? It's hard to say with everything that's gone on with this embattled supervisor of trustees and mayor. It's hard to say what direction she's going to go. But in the meantime, it seems like she is, just basically going down while all these investigations are going on. And she's taken people with her and she's just lashing out politically in the form of fines and withholding funds and all kinds of other stuff. Because this is just the most recent story of Tiff, right? This is just one tiny little piece of a big, big puzzle that the FBI is right now trying to put together, at least the fiduciary stuff about it, right? The stuff that's possibly illegal. And, the impact on the village of Dalton, it's kind of like I've been talking about. The impact's already there when your constituents come to board meetings, come to council meetings with shirts that say y'all going to jail or whatever it was on that one woman's shirt. That's when you know it's had an impact, because this is not good for the community. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell, share with friends and family. It's the best way to get this information out if you enjoy it. And I'll see you on the next segment. Thanks again. Talk soon. Bye.